Talk about great writers. This guy, he's been writing music for me for, what, 30 years probably? About that kind. Yeah, anytime I get a few extra dollars in the bank, I call Bob and say, write something else. One of my most successful albums was, I had a salsa band in Los Angeles for a lot of years, and he's really like an expert on salsa music, so I had him write most of the arrangements for the album. It was a huge, still selling that album, can you believe it? After all this time. And that's probably one of the only CDs that still sells, actually. Nobody buys CDs anymore, it's all done. I've got thousands of them sitting on shelves in my studio at home. People, all this download stuff, iTunes, later with that. You know, they don't even tell you who's playing. You just get a track, you want to know who the drummer is, and forget it, you know. Anyway, we're going to do a tune now that was written by John Green many years ago. You have a cute little story about this tune. John Green was one of the greatest American composers, and many years ago we were simultaneously guests at the Disney, what's it called, Epcot down there in Florida, yeah, and with the orchestra there, and so I went out to dinner with John Green, and I was just curious about this tune because it's really a classic, and I said, John, can you tell me about what was the inspiration for this tune? This is Body and Soul, of course. You have a program you can see. But I thought, well, who is she? You know, was my question. You know, of course, his wife is there. I was being very cautious about this. You know, but you know, it turns out that he told me he was working on a show in London, like a kind of a Broadway type of thing. You know, West End, they call it over there, and this is about 1932 or something like that, and so they got down to about a week or 10 days before the show was to open, and the producer came to him and said, "John, you know, we need one more piece of music in the show. It's one short." And he said, "You know what? I've been over here for 5 months working on this, writing music. I just can't write another piece of music. I'm totally burnt. I want to go home to my family." And the guy says, "Well, it's worth $150 if you do it." And he went, $150, really? So he wrote the tune. It was strictly mercenary, folks. There was no love affair here. He wrote this tune, Body and Soul, based on $150, which in 1932 was probably equivalent to about $30,000 probably. People were making $1 a week salary in those days. Anyway, that's the story of Body and Soul. This arrangement was done by a great jazz trumpet player, originally from Omaha, Nebraska, and lived in Las Vegas, and it was a very dear friend of mine. And he wrote this chart originally for the great Carl Fontana, and then Carl gave me copies of it, you know, and so I've been doing it. It's Body and Soul by Herbie Phillips.